Hello guys, my name is Renato Filizola, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to configure an Apache server on a CentOS 8 from scratch. So this is my CentOS server. I'm going to log in using my root account, and I'm logged already. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the interface network, my network interface. So vi sys config network scripts and my file ifcfg-enp0s3. So enp0s3, it's actually my network interface. I'm gonna hit enter, and I have to change some options here. I also need to add some entries. The first one that I'm gonna start is I need to change boot proto from DHCP to static. IPv6, we're not gonna use IPv6, so I'm gonna say no, and I'm gonna add my entry for IPv4 in it equals, and now my IPv4 then will be yes. Next, I have to add IP address equals, and my IP address, I'm going to use 192.168.0.140, and my net mask is going to be a class C net mask. That means my net mask is 255.255.255.0. My gateway is the IP address of my router, 192.168.0.1, and my primary DNS, which is I set up with DNS1, equals, I'm going to choose the primary Google DNS, and my alternative DNS, or my secondary DNS, is going to be Google as well, 8.8.4.4. And the very last thing, but very important one, is I need to change on boot from no to yes. That means all this configuration will be up when I restart my server. Okay, I'm gonna save now, and I have to disable my interface. So I'm going to disable enp0s3, and now I'm going to do if up and my interface. Okay, it says that's fine, it's activated. I'm going to clear my screen, and I will check the IP address for my enp0s3, my interface, and now I can see here 192.168.0.140. So now that I have an IP address set up, I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to open a terminal. I'm going to try to access it remotely. SSH root at in the IP address that I have changed to 0.140, my password. There we go, we are logged into our CentOS server. The first thing we have to do now is we need to check with systemctl status and httpd.service. What is the status for our httpd or our Apache server? And it says httpd service could not be found. That means we do not have an Apache server running yet, so it's not installed. I'm gonna install, and then I'm gonna set up after that. I'm gonna configure after that. But first, the default option for the repositories for my CentOS 8, for some reason, it doesn't work. So if I go here, yum update, it shows it cannot prepare internal mirror list or something like that. I'm gonna change it. There is this option here. I'm gonna add a specific comment to all the mirrors entry. I'm gonna copy this and I will first I'm gonna check here etc yum.repos.d ls-ls. All of them are the files, the default files for my repositories, but again, for some reason the default options they don't work. So I'm gonna use this command here. So what I'm doing here is I'm replacing all the lines that have mirror list, and I'm creating a comment in front of this. In all of the files inside my /etc/yum.repos.d files. So for all of those files, I'm changing that option. Okay, and now I will remove the comment for the base URL parameter, and I will add a new URL. Okay, so I'm gonna paste it here, and what I'm doing here is the opposite. So any line that has a comment in base URL equals in the DNS or the address for the mirror list, we're gonna change from this to this, but without a comment. Okay, and same idea for all the files in my /etc/yum.repos.d for all of those files. So I'm gonna hit enter. Okay, and now I can check if I'm able to update my CentOS. So let's see now. Okay, looks promising. There we go. So CentOS has all of those packets to be updated. That means 124 megabytes, and I'm gonna say yes for all of them. So I'm gonna update all of them. 27 packets, and it asks to add the fingerprint or the key. It's asking, do you want to add the key from the server to your server? And I'm gonna say yes. Key imported successfully, and it's gonna start the transaction. So I'm gonna pause the video because it will take some time until it updates everything and installs everything, and as soon as it's installed, I'll be back. Okay, all the packets have been updated. It's okay, it's fine. Now I'm gonna install the Apache server, which is my httpd service. I'm gonna use yum install httpd, and it's asking, do you want to install all of those packets for your httpd service? And I'm gonna say yes, I do. Oh good, let's check the service. Systemctl status and httpd.service, and it says here that the service is inactive or dead. That means that my service is not running yet. So what I have to do now is I'm gonna say systemctl, and I'm gonna start my httpd dot service. Okay, I didn't see any error message, so let's check the status now. And now we can see here that my httpd and the Apache HTTP server is active and running. There's another option which is very important, which is, even if it's running, it doesn't mean that if I restart my server, it's going to be on. So I have to say, okay, systemctl, please enable my httpd.service. So this option here, enable, means that if I restart my server, that will start the service automatically. And I'm gonna enable this. That's fine. If it's running, now I can open my Google Chrome, and I can do 192.168.0.140, and it says this site can't be reached. But why, if my service is already running? So there's one thing. For default CentOS, it comes with firewall enabled. So to open the browser, I will need to disable the firewall. So first I'm going to check, let me clear this screen, and I'm going to check the status of my firewall-d.service. And it says your firewall-d, it's active and running. Okay, so if it's active and running, I can't access right now the port 80. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go systemctl stop my firewall-d. And if I try now the status, it says that the firewall service is inactive or dead. That means it's not running. So I'm gonna try again my Google Chrome, and there we go. Now we can see that the HTTPD server is running properly. But I don't want to have, let me maximize this. I don't want to have my firewall stopped, so I'm gonna clear this screen. What I want to do is I want to check if there is any port allowed. So I will check with firewall-cmd -- list ports. And it says firewall-d is not running. So if I start my service, systemctl start firewall-d.service, okay, and I'm gonna check again the ports, and it doesn't show anything. That means there's no port allowed to access this server. For example, my HTTPD service. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add using firewall-cmd, and I would like to add the port 80 using TCP. After that, I can check again the ports, and it says, okay, now you have port 80 permitted or allowed. So I'm gonna go back to my Google Chrome, and I'm gonna check it, and all good. So even though if now my firewall-d is active and running, I can access my HTTP server. So I'm going to create a new tab. I'm going to open a new tab just to check again, just to show you guys that it's not cached. 140, and it's working properly. Okay, but this option here, it doesn't mean that the service will deport. Actually, if it doesn't mean that the port, it will be enabled if I restart the server. So I have to send from firewall-cmd to the permanent rule. That means I'm gonna send that option here, this option here, this allowed port, from my memory to the runtime. To do that, I have to go to firewall-cmd and go to runtime. It's firewall-cmd dash space dash dash runtime dash to dash permanent. Okay, it says success. Now it's fine. So even if I restart my server, the port 80 will be allowed. So we are good for our firewall now. And there's one more thing I'd like to show you. Let me clear the screen again. And I will check the main configuration file for the httpd service, which is /etc/httpd and conf, and now my httpd.conf. This is the main file for my service, for my Apache service. And just want to show you some options here. So server root, that means that this is the configuration folder. So all the configuration files will be in /etc/httpd. The other option I'd like to show you is this option here, this parameter, listen 80. That means my Apache server is running on the port 80. And the very last one I'd like to show you is, where is it? I can actually check here, document root. Let me check my document root. Let me check the next one. There we go. So document root /var/www/html. That means this is the directory that will serve all your documents and files. Okay, just to let you know. So let's say if you want to have a website, your website needs to be in this folder here, /var/www/html. So I'm gonna close this file and I will go to I'll change my directory to /var/www/html. And if I check here, there is no file, so I'm gonna create my index. I can create with touch index.html. I'm gonna check if it has been created, and it has, and I'm gonna edit this file, index.html. I have actually an HTML file ready to go here. that I did previously. I'm gonna paste. It's just a basic HTML file. So this is my head, and this is just a paragraph, and it's fine. So I just like very basic thing just to test. So I'm gonna save it. And now, as I have an index in my /var/www/html, that means now my default page is going to be whatever index file I have in this folder. So I'm gonna go back to my Apache. I'm gonna copy the IP address and I'm gonna paste it here, and now I can see the same option as I have in my index file. So as you can see here, my first page and the address to my website, and if I go here, it's the same thing. So now I have my index.html page working fine. Okay, yeah, so that's all, guys. Now we have an Apache server up and running. I hope you guys like this video. Please give a thumb up, give a comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and see you later.